Hello and good evening, people. So we have, this seems to be a barrister. I don't know the woman, but what I'm seeing here is fantastic. She's coming out here with a Vote No campaign to mothers in the home, Article 41.2 and 41.1 of the Irish Constitution on the 8th of March 2024. And this is an article from Grip Media, and I got this sent to me, and I think it's very interesting. So I'll play what this lady has to say here, and then I'll read out the article.
Good morning. I'm here this morning to tell you about our campaign, our Vote No campaign for the referendum on care and women in the home, which is to take place on the 8th of March. We see this as an insult to womankind. We view 41.2 as a beautiful recognition of the role of women and mothers in society, the profound and important work that they do that is often thankless, but is explicitly acknowledged in Article 41.2 in our Constitution. Now, the wording might be a little bit old-fashioned, but by erasing the entire article, we are erasing the work and the contribution of women and mothers to society. We feel that this acknowledgement is ennobling, and it's ennobling to women and to mothers whose work is often invisible or thankless, but so important.
So that was very interesting, people. So I'm going to continue reading here. So, Women and Children's Rights Group, the Countess launches a Vote No referendum campaign. Women and Children's Rights Organisation, the Countess, has launched its Vote No referendum campaign. Referring to the Irish tradition of no lying, Nabam, or Women's Christmas, Countess founder and CEO Louise de Bruyn BL said that this ancient custom may feel old-fashioned, but as with Article 41.2 of our 1937 Constitution, it is at least an honest and welcome acknowledgement of the often thankless and profoundly important work women do in the home and the running of the household, rearing of the children. She added that this is the foundation of society. De Bruyn pointed to the figures from at the home and abroad, saying statistics show Irish women do double the hours of caring as men and more than double the hours of housework. On average, an Irish woman will complete 38.2 hours per week of unpaid work in the home every week, which is like having a full-time job on top of your actual paid full-time job, as most women work full-time. By contrast, Danish women do 16 less hours of housework and caring, she said. Across the EU, only women in Malta, Romania undertake as much unpaid labour in the home as Irish women, she said, adding that despite a slight improvement in male uptake of unpaid work in the home, and around 2007, this appears to have been a glitch accounted for by the financial crash, and the stark imbalance between the sexes resumed once the economy improved. So across the EU, we are the bottom of the league for equality in the home, with Romania and Malta fearing about the same states, De Bruyn said. This is the harsh truth, and perhaps it is uncomfortable truth for our politicians, whose chief concern would appear to be selling Ireland as the most progressive little country on the world stage. Sharply criticising the state, failing to shoulder some of the burden placed on women, she said it instead intends to recast this reality and propose a sort of gender-neutral, diluted, wishy-washy, caring in the home word salad, which does nothing to further woman's lot, but robs them of their ennobling acknowledgement in Anne Bonracht, conceding that she feels language used in Article 41.2 is outdated. De Bruyn said that if one looks to the Irish wording, which takes supremacy according to Article 63, from which the article was translated, it refers to Taglach, not home, which means household. Any argument that 41.2 somehow forces women to stay at home is nonsense and has no basis in fact or law, she said. With regard to stay-at-home mothers and fathers, the Countess founder of those who chose to stay at home to look after their small children in the early years, a staggering 94.3% are mothers. De Bruyn, who is an IBCLC International Board certified lactation consultant, added, "No one can argue with the importance of a mother and baby bond and the need not to rupture the mother and baby dyad." Criticizing how the state treats mothers after giving birth, she said, "If you are in receipt of job seekers allowance, you must prove to the state you are actively looking for work only 8 weeks postpartum, lest your benefit be taken away." This is hardly looking after women or equality, is it, people? This, said De Bruyn, sheds light on the soul of the current government, which is diabolic, and its actual views on motherhood and the role of mothers. The Taoiseach ministers and NGOs from IHREC to NWCI are clamouring to convince us that the wording that caused the inequality on the ground and the households and seems intoxicated by the mad notion that somehow, by removing those words, we will all suddenly be transported from old-fashioned Catholic Ireland of the 1950s to some sort of Scandinavian nirvana, she added, describing the proposed change to the Constitution as both incoherent, lazy, and an attempt at virtue signaling. In place of taking action that actually changes things for the better, she said, in reality, 41.2 is the bulwark against neoliberal values which characterize this coalition, whereby all that matters is GDP, money, and the meta economy. That's your Google and your data centers and whatnot. Metaverse. Mothering and running households is done by women, and this is explicitly and remarkably recognized for its benefits to society under A 14.2. She said, adding, according to neoliberal economics, these things hold no value and therefore must be erased. She described the neoliberal worldview as seeing mothering as disposable, replaceable, and worthless because it doesn't contribute to the GDP. There you go, the money again. Saying that it is downgraded to parent, a pair who rents their child off the state, or a carer, social services, teachers, doctors. One or two. Which one are you? I am a father. Are you a mother or a father? Or a pair who rents your child off the state. Your child is your property, not a commodity. In addition, the contribution of women to society is erased, she said. Turning her attention back to the government of Ireland, De Bruyne warned voters not to forget that it was them who tried to delete the word woman from the maternity protection legislation aggressively, retroactively, and covertly. She says the government would have gotten away with it too had it not been the amendments hidden in the depths of the work-life balance and miscellaneous provisions bill being spotted by us and inspired our successful campaign. These words belong to us forcing a climb down. We are fighting an ongoing battle with this government, people, to protect our rights and our words. We view this referendum as a narcissistic assault on the foundational legal text of the state and a grave insult to the womankind in Ireland, she said. De Bruyne warned, we cannot let this vacuous yet authoritarian strain of governance which has infected the Anglosphere remove the words woman and home from 41.2 or explicit recognition of the contribution of women. Slamming the decision to hold a referendum in the first place, De Bruyne said, it was an outrageous act of vandalism to our founding document and tamper with it in this fashion. How dare they, she said, adding the government had no need to prove their woke credentials anymore. You go woke, you go broke. Diet woke, folks. Diet woke. Turning back to the electorate, she said, the people will have their say on the 8th of March, and they will view this ballot as a means to dissent. So many policies have been forced onto the people in the last decade. Now the same zealots are coming for one clause in our founding legal text that refers to woman in the home, and I can tell you now it's completely and categorically off limits. De Bruyne expressed her hope that the public will use their vote to let the government know loud and clear how they feel about the wider issue of left-handed policy being forced onto the citizens without mandate. She mused at the timing of the referendum, saying it was curious. The barrister said it was interesting to her that just as a case is about to come to court in a leapfrog appeal from the High Court to the Supreme Court, that the government might appear to be in a race against the clock to excise the very article the applicant, a woman who cares for her adult Down syndrome son, might successfully rely upon. That is a profoundly powerful statement for this barrister and woman to come out with. And Catherine Connolly TD from Galway, who is a feminist and would be leftist, has also come out and profoundly cut this down. This legislation, this referendum, is not a vote for politicians. You're not voting for a politician to get into office. You're voting for mothers. You're voting for your mother. You're voting for your grandmother. You're voting for your sister. You're voting for your daughter, your granddaughter, your great-granddaughter, your great-great-granddaughter. You're voting for the future of this country, because without her life in the home, true social order cannot be obtained. Therefore, the state guarantees and endeavours to protect her within the home, her life within the home. Mothers are the matriarchs of society and must be protected at all costs. This is the duty of every Irish man and Irish woman on the island of Era, north, south, east and west. This neoliberalism must stop, and this is our chance to send a message to the government of Ireland and Era that we do not consent. Gora mia me agad.